friends, my name is Habib. Welcome to my channel, ObaCode Programming. Here we shall be learning different programming languages. Today we are going to learn Canvas in HTML and JavaScript. First, we start with creating a new file. Then we name it canvas.html. And if you want to create a new file, you have to press this button and you have to create another new file, naming it canvas.js. And then you have to write an exclamation mark. And if you write an exclamation mark, you should see this appear. And then we click on enter. So that's going to set up our document. The first thing we have to do is link this to our JavaScript file or it's not going to work. And so we write script source. Then we write the name of our JavaScript file, canvas.js. There, now we have everything set up. Now we just need to add the canvas element. So then we write canvas. Then we set the width and height. I'm going to set the width to 800 and the height to 800. There we go. Now we go into our JavaScript file and we make a new variable var canvas is equal to document.getElementById, and this gets the ID of a certain element. But before we can use that, you have to give this one an ID. You have to give it an ID of canvas, and you can name your ID anything you want. So and then we write the ID we gave our canvas element, which is canvas. Now we have to write var ctx equals canvas dot get context 2D. Now this is going to set up our canvas, but before we can actually draw anything onto the screen, we have to make a function rect, and you can name your function anything you want. You can even name it rectangle or ctx, but we're just going to name it rect for now. And then we write ctx.fillStyle is equal to, then we write RGB 255,0,0. This is going to make our the rectangle we are going to make red. Then we write ctx.fillRect, and then we write 0, which is the x position, another 0, which is the y position, 200, which is the width, and 100, which is the height. So then we save it, but if we want to actually see anything that we've done, we have to right click on canvas.html and click on copy path. Then we paste the path into our browser, but we don't actually see anything because we haven't run the function. We can write rect. There you see a rectangle. You can also make squares with this. Just write, instead of writing 200, just write 100. There it became a square. Instead of writing RGB, instead you can write red. So when you reload it, it will lead to the same result. We can also make another square by writing the same thing, except we're going to make the square green instead of red. ctx.fillStyle is equal to green. And then we write ctx.fillRect. And then we write we want this to be more further away from our first rectangle. So I have to write 100, 100, Now we're going to set the width and height, which are 100 and 100. Now if we reload this, you should see a green rectangle. But if we reduce the x and y positions and instead change it to 50, 50, you're going to see the green rectangle goes in front of the red rectangle. It's because we made the green rectangle last. The one you made last is going to go in front of all the other things. For example, if we made the green rectangle first, then it's going to go behind the red rectangle because we made it first. Now, we can move these two rectangles, but first we're going to move the red one. We're going to delete this green one since we don't need it anymore. That's going to leave only the red one. We're going to make a new variable called var x is equal to 0, and this is going to be our x position, and var mx is equal to 10. We're going to use this later, but anyways, then we write set interval. Then we write the function we want to use, which is rect, and we don't put the brackets like we normally do. We just write the function name, but we don't put the brackets. That's just wrong. And then we write 24. So this is going to make it run at 25 frames per second. Now we don't need this anymore. So if we reload it, it's going to look the same, but it's actually drawing the rectangle. It's actually drawing the square over and over again at 24 frames per second. This will show even more if we try to move the square. Then we write x plus equals 1. But you see that it doesn't do anything since we haven't replaced the current x position of the rectangle into the variable x. You have to replace the x position of the rectangle into the x variable. So if we reload it, we're going to see it's moving, but it's going to leave a trail behind it. Why is this? Well, it's because it keeps redrawing the rectangle over and over again. But we don't want that, so we make a new function. Function clear. And then we write ctx.clearRect. This will clear a the rectangle that it is on. Like if we'll write 0, 0, canvas.width, canvas.height. This is going to clear everything on this screen, but you might be wondering, what are we going to do with this? Well, you'll see. Then we write clear, and then we also make a new function called draw, and then we write the rect function, which is going to draw our rectangle, and then we change this from rect to draw. and then we write our clear function first. Now if we reload this, you see that the square is not leaving a trail behind it, but you might be wondering what causes this. Well, it's because when we run the rect function last, it is going to move it. When we run the clear function first, it is going to clear the entire canvas before we do anything on the rect function. And when we declare the rect function last, it is going to draw the square. So first, it is going to clear the entire canvas, then draw the square. This is going to prevent it from leaving any trails behind it. And instead of that, you can write x plus equals mx. You see that the square is moving, but the square is going off the canvas, and we don't want that. So we write if then x is greater than canvas dot width mx equals 0 minus mx. Now we reload it, and you see it bounces off the screen. It bounces off the right side, but it doesn't bounce off the left side. So we need to write this. This means r. Then we write x is less than 0. Then if we run this, it's going to bounce off the left side and bounce off the right side too. But when it bounces off the left side, it is kind of going into the left side, so we have to minus it by the width and height of the canvas. We have to minus it by the width of the square, which is 100. So we write minus 100. And if we run that again, we did it! We successfully made a bouncing square. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye!